guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be solving the LeetCode question, remove covered intervals. Alright, so this question is pretty similar to some other questions that we solved, such as Timo attacking and a few other ones, which I'll link down below if you do want to check out. Alright, anyway, so in this question, we're given a list of intervals, and we want to remove all of the intervals that are covered by another interval in the list. So for example, over here we have the interval a comma b. So a is going to be the starting point, and b is going to be the ending point of that certain interval. And it's covered by the interval c comma d. So this is another interval. And over here, the reason c comma d is covered by a comma b is because the a value is greater than or equal to the c value, and the d value is greater than or equal to the b value. So in simple words, if we have 1 comma 6, right? So we start at 1 and at 6, and for something to be covered, it has to be in between 1 comma 6. So for example, if you had 2 comma 4, it would be covered. So let's just look at this example real quickly. And one more thing that we want to notice is the number that we're outputting over here is going to be the number of remaining intervals that we have. So for example, let's just look at this over here. So we have 1 comma 4, 3 comma 6, and 2 comma 8. So the values 3 comma 6 actually goes inside of the interval 2 comma 8. So 3 is greater than or equal to 2, and 6 is less than or equal to 8. So keeping that in mind, 3 comma 6 is going to be removed. And now removing 3 comma 6, before removing it, we had a length of 3, and now since we're removing one number or one interval, we're now going to have a length of 2, and that's what we're going to end up outputting. We're going to output the value 2. So I'm going to use the same example to kind of see how exactly are we going to solve this question over here. Okay. So over here, as you can see, it's the exact same example, 1 comma 4, 3 comma 6, 2 comma 8. Now, what we're going to do, the first step that we're going to do is we're going to sort this. And the way that we're going to sort it is that we're going to sort it according to the start value. So the start value is 1, 3, and 2 respectively, right? So now that we sort it, let's just do that real quickly. 1 comma 4, since 1 is the least, and then after that we have 2. So now we have 2 comma 8, and finally we're going to end up having 3 comma 6. So this is going to be our new intervals. Now why did we sort it? So by sorting it, and we want to make sure that we actually sorted it according to the starting value. So 1, 3, and 2. So by sorting it by the starting value, what that's telling us, so let's say that we call this interval 1. Interval 2 is always going to start after interval 1. And that's true because we sorted all of them, right? So that is going to hold true. And since we actually sorted it by ascending order for our first starting element, what that's going to tell us is that the next value is always going to be inside of the closed interval. Since let's call this value over here a and this over here b, b has to be greater than or equal to the value a. And that is always going to be true since we sorted it. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, how do we account for this ending value over here? So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to have two variables, a variable that we're going to use to track what the global ending value is, so the maximum ending value. So I'll just call this variable over here called ending, and we're also going to have another variable for our results. So obviously our result is going to start off at 0, or one more thing that we could do is we can start off our result at the length of our array over here. So we can start it off with 3 and we can decrease it as we go. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start it off at the number 0. Okay, and our ending value is also going to be 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go iterating through our list over here, and we're only going to be looking at the ending values. So the first value we have over here is the number 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare. So is the number 4 greater than our current ending value? And it is. So in that case, we're going to do two things. We're going to make the new ending value over here 4, and we're also going to increase our result by 1. So now our result is going to end up becoming 1. Okay, and now let's just go on to the next step and see how this actually happens. So basically what this is telling us is so far the maximum ending that we have is at the 4th second or whatever the number time is. And now we're going to go on to our next number. And again, we're not worrying about our start value since we already considered that while sorting it. So now we have the number 8, and 8 is again greater than 4. So since it's greater than that, that becomes our new ending, and we again increase our result by 1. So now our result has a length of 2. But now what happens is, so now we go on to the next number. So we have 3 comma 6, and over here the number 6 actually has a value less than our result here. And what that's telling us is this interval 3 comma 6 lies inside of our previous intervals that we had. So over here, it makes sense since 3 is greater than 2 and 6 is less than 8. So we're not going to account for this inside of our final result. In other words, what is happening is that this over here is getting cancelled. So let's just get rid of that. So in that case, our ending stays the same and our result stays the same. And since we reach the ending, we're just going to end up returning the value 2, since that is going to be our answer. But now what I'm going to do is let's just add one more interval to see why this might not be right. And I'm also going to change this value over here. So this over here, I'm going to make this 3, 9. And let's add one more interval of 3, 10. So this is going to be our new intervals. And what I'm going to do is let's just start it off from the beginning. So everything over here is going to start off at 0, result is 0, ending is also 0. So let's just go through this real quick. So over here, our ending is now going to be 4, our result is going to become 1. Then at 8, so now it becomes 8, and our result increases to 2. And now at 9, 9 is greater than 8, so this becomes 9, and this becomes 3. And then we go to 10, and 10 is also greater than 9, so this becomes 10, and this becomes 4. Now, the problem is, our result actually ended up becoming the number 4. But that's actually not correct. If you look at this, the interval 3, 9 fits right into the interval 3, 10. So actually what should be happening is our result should actually be the number 3, and this over here should get cancelled off. But that did not happen. Why is that? So to understand that real quickly, what actually would be our optimal answer? So our best answer is when everything goes inside of one interval, right? So that's what's going to happen if everything goes inside exactly one interval. And the best answer for that is if we have negative infinity, comma, positive infinity. In other words, all we want is we want this over here to be the smallest value and this over here to be the greatest value in order to be able to accommodate for most of the intervals which are enclosed inside of it. So keeping that in mind, we already sorted everything, all the starting values in ascending order, but we never considered the ending values over here. So in the case that we have two values, so in this case with the same starting value, so we have 3, and we also have a 3 over here. In that case, what we want to do is we want to sort the second or the ending value in descending order. And the reason for that is we want our starting values to be in ascending order and the ending values to be in descending order. So instead, let's just get rid of this over here. Sorry, it's a little messy. So we're going to have 1, 4, 2, 8, and this over here is going to be 3, 10, and after 3, 10, we're going to have 3, 9. Okay, and now let's say we do this all again. So until here, it's going to be the same, but instead of, we have these two over here. Currently, our ending is going to be 8. So over here, we're going to be at 8, and our result is going to be 2. So now what's going to happen is now we're going to go to 10, and at 10, our ending becomes 10 over here, and our result increases. But now that we go to the next value, which is 9, 9 is going to be enclosed inside of 3, 10, which is why 9 is less than 10. And in that case, our result is not going to change, and that is why we're going to end up outputting the number 3. So that is the other condition that we want to look for. So now let's go into the code part of this question, and let's see how that looks like. All right, so let's start off by actually preparing our intervals list over here by doing what we did, which was sorting it according to the rules that we had. So to do that, I'm going to be using the sorted function, and we want to sort intervals, so let's give it that. And over here, we're going to give it a key, so lambda. And so what we're going to do over here is that we want to sort everything by the first index, so x0. And one more thing that we want to consider over here is if we have the same starting value for two or more intervals, then in that case, we want to make sure that the ending values are in descending order. So in order to do that, we can just do a simple technique. And all we're going to do is we're going to change the ending value to be negative, and we're going to sort it that way. And the reason we're making it negative is pretty simple. So basically what we're doing is, let's say we have the numbers 9 and 10. Let's just go back over here. So we have 9 and 10, and let's make this negative 9 over here and negative 10. Obviously, negative 10 is smaller. So in that way, what's happening is that negative 10 is going to come first. So it's a pretty simple way to actually get that in descending order. Okay, so now we have our intervals ready. And over here, we want to get our two variables. So we have the result, which is going to start off at 0. And we're also going to have the ending value that we're talking about, which is also going to start off at 0. So now all we're going to do is we're going to iterate through our intervals. So we're going to have our start value and we're going to have our end value in each of our intervals. But one more thing that we want to notice is that we don't really care about the start value since we already took care of that by sorting it. So over here, I'm just going to do underscore, which just basically tells us that we're not actually going to consider or do anything with it. Okay, so over here, we're going to check if the current ending value we're on is greater than the global ending, which is this value over here. So if the current end is greater than the global ending value, then in that case, we're going to increase our result by 1. And one more thing that is going to happen is the endings value, the global ending value, is also now going to become the new end value, which we're currently on. And this is just going to be the maximum end value that we're on. And that's really it. So at the ending of this, our result we should be getting our result. And that's all we're going to do is return that result that we have over here. So submit this. And as you can see, our submission did get accepted. So finally, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Do let me know if you have any questions. And don't forget to like and subscribe if the video helped you. Thank you.